Hey guys, Andy here from Mediocre Hobbies, bringing you another video in the Legion playlist. This time we're going to be working on the Word Bearers, an armor color that is slightly unusual as it's more brown than red, but I'm sure we can figure it out in this video. Let's get into it. Okay, as is tradition with most of my Legion playlist videos, we started by spraying the model Chaos Black and then giving it a zenithal of Grey Seer. We then moved over to contrast Gore-Grunta Fur. Most of you at this stage are probably confused as to why I went for a color like Gore-Grunta Fur, but if you pay close attention to Wordbearer's armor, it's more a rich, warm brown than it is a red, if that makes sense. So in order to get a base coat on that I thought would suit the tone of the miniature, I went for contrast Gore-Grunta Fur all over the power armor of this miniature. Once again, with contrast, just be wary that it doesn't pool anywhere you don't want it to pool or leave any streaks. This is a particular paint job that we will be layering up afterwards. So if you do have a bit of pooling or streaking, it's okay. We'll be able to fix that up later on when we get to the layering stage. Just take your time and Gore-Grunta Fur the power armor like so. Next thing we're going to do is move over to contrast Black Templar. As you can see, I accidentally Gore-Grunta Furred the shoulder pads because I forgot they were black. But that's okay. We start with colors like that so that when we go on to something like the Black Templar contrast, we can just go straight back over those shoulder pads, no problem. And it will still give fantastic coverage. So it's both shoulder pads, the casing of the bolt gun, and actually the vents on the power pack that go black in this particular scheme. Wordbearer is actually quite an enjoyable paint scheme to paint because you're doing those rich, dark, warm brown to red color schemes. They usually give great coverage no matter what stage of the paint job you're doing, so there's no frustrating parts at all. If you're one who had decided you want to do a Wordbearer's army, I think you're going to have a pretty handy time of it, especially with a scheme like the one I'm showing you guys here. With all the black done, it's time to move over to the Leadbelcher, and this is the base coat, all the rest of the metallic parts. So all the other mechanisms of his bolt rifle, the trim on his shoulder pad, and those pipe connectors from his backpack. We also did the circlet on his head, and I think that was it for the Leadbelcher for the base coat stage. Just take your time not to hit that black. You don't want to be staining that with something like a silver at this stage of the paint job. Obviously different miniatures, different marks of armor will have different parts that you will do silver, but that's down to your discretion. If you look up Google images of that, loads of people do loads of different parts, but these are the main primary colors. What order you put them in the miniature, it's kind of up to you. I then shaded the entire miniature with Reikland Fleshshade. I've said this before in videos, so I'm going to say it here again now. Don't freak out. I know this kind of seems strange, but I'm really playing into that really warm, rich brown color for the armor, with just a tinge of red to it. So if you're screaming now, wondering what the hell are you doing, thinking about switching off the video, don't. Play through to the end and then let me know in the comments below if you think I went an interesting yet successful route to getting the Wordbearer's color for power armor. I'd love to know what your thoughts are when I do stuff like this at this exact point. So put it in the comments below when you get to this stage if I was freaking you out by choosing my colors, and if you stuck through till the end and seen if I pulled it off or not. Okay guys, while that shade is drying, I just want to take the opportunity to say that if you're enjoying the video, enjoying the content, make sure you hit that like button. If you want to be updated on all the future videos coming out by me, the rest of the Legion playlist, some of the Primarchs, some of the how to play for the horse Heresy, make sure that you hit that subscribe button and hit the little bell button. If you want to support me and support the channel even further, there's links to things like my Patreon below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and let's get back to the video. Okay, while the shade was drying, I decided to base the miniature up as well. I'm going for a Martian scheme for the entire playlist so I can get a really nice photo of all 18 legions at the end. If you guys didn't know, this is actually the 8th video in my Legion playlist, so I've done 7 other videos and then there's a whole heap more to come after it. So right now we are working back up the power armor, and the color I've chosen for this is of course Wordbearer's red. So just take your time and layer up that armor. This is one of the things I was talking about, it being a super handy paint scheme to do. Unlike others, the kind of brighter schemes, you will not need to do multiple coats. The Word Bear red will go over the power armor. The Gore-Grunta Fur base coat we did in one nice neat coat, which means it'll cut painting time right down. And this kind of neat layering always kind of relaxes and soothes me. I always find this to be quite a pleasant stage of painting. So just take your time and go around all of those armor panels, leaving the nooks and crannies, all those recesses, with the darker browny color. And when you have all of the armor base coated, it should look something like this. Oh, timing was off. Nearly had it there. There we go. And as you can see, it is definitely red. It's definitely brown. I think that's the color Word Bear's armor is supposed to be. I've done a million Google image searches and people do them very, very red. They look more like red Corsairs than they do Word Bears in my head, but that's just me. We then move over to the Corvus Black paint to layer up all of the black parts on the miniature. I like using Corvus Black just so the black on miniatures doesn't sit as just like this flat color. There's a little bit more interest, a little bit more intrigue with the Corvus Black. I think it just looks kind of more painted, if that makes sense. We then move back over to Leadbelcher, and this is to tidy up and clean up things like the shoulder trim. The Reikland Fleshshade had the effect of turning the Leadbelcher on his shoulder trim to look more like a bronzy color. We definitely want to pull that back more towards a silver color, as they do just have solid silver trim on their shoulder pads. So we're going to do kind of like a heavy layer. We're not going to leave too much of that old silver behind. But then for all the other silver parts of the miniature, we just want to go in, we want to take our time and then leave the shade in all the nooks and crannies. As you can see, we move off the shoulder pad here and I'm going quite heavy, not leaving too much of that color behind. If only every Legion was this easy to paint. Here we are, we're going to move over to Talassar Blue. When we did that Leadbelcher stage, we also painted in his eye lens. If you've been watching along my Legion playlist, you will have seen that I do this trick a lot, where I just block in the eye lens color with silver, and then I pick a nice contrast color that will go red with the armor. So these guys have gone for a blue eye lens, and you just put the blue contrast in, green contrast in, red contrast, whatever contrast color you want, or whatever color you want for the eye lenses, there is a contrast color that will do the job. And with that, we have one finished Word Bear. I dug through my Chaos transfers and found a Word Bear sticker. So I stuck that on his shoulder pad just to give him one last little bit of detail. And with that, we have one completed Word Bear's Legionnaire in a Mark III Iron Armor. I do hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you do, do not forget to like it and hit that subscribe button. So you don't miss out on any more of my Legion playlist. We're working on 2 more Primarchs now to add to the playlist as well, so stick around and check those out. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next video.